This is your host, Dub FFG, your fantasy football GOAT strategist. It's week 16, second round of the playoffs. Are you ready? Are you still in it? Well, let's find out. First up, we're going to look at T. Higgins. Now, Ja'Marr Chase is injured, so that makes T. Higgins wide receiver 1. Now, whether Ja'Marr plays or not, this still should be a good week for T. Higgins. He has a good matchup versus the Steelers, and like I said, even if Ja'Marr plays, he may be limited. T. Higgins should eat very well this week. Play it. Next, we're looking at A.J. Brown. Now, A.J. had a so-so outing last week, but this week is a get-right game for him. Why? Because they're playing the Giants, and the Giants are 28th versus wide receivers. So this is a great matchup for A.J. Brown and the rest of the Eagles skill players. A.J. in particular, look for maybe a score, if not 2, and definitely the yardage should be there. A.J. Brown. Next up, we're looking at Jaylen Waddle. Now, Jaylen has a tough matchup versus the Cowboys. This should be an all-out good game on the field. Now, Jaylen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and the rest of these skill players for the Dolphins, they're going to be ready for this game. And so will the Cowboys. So expect this game to really come down to maybe a 31-28, 31-34 kind of score. Who wins? It's kind of a coin flip. But Jaylen is going to be excellent for downfield throws. He should have probably at least 2 of those. Of course, Tyreek is going to get most of the attention, if not the double team. This fares extremely well for Jaylen Waddle. So he should eat extremely well this week versus the Cowboys. Jaylen Waddle. Here's a word from our sponsors. When you look in the mirror, do you see a GOAT? Are you the best that fantasy football has to offer? If so, then wear it on your chest. Fantasy Football GOAT Strategies has new arrivals for the new fantasy season. See the link in the description or scan the QR code. Pick up your gear now. Fantasy Football GOAT Strategies. Next, we're looking at Stefon Diggs. Stefon also had not so good numbers productive-wise from a fantasy standpoint last week. And this week is a get-right game for him as well. The Chargers are 30th versus the wide receivers, and that goes very well with Stefon having a big game with big fantasy numbers. Stefon Diggs. And if you're going with Stefon as having a good game, his quarterback should have a great game. Again, they're playing the Chargers. The Chargers are so far down in the dump, fired their head coach, amongst other things. So this is definitely a good game for Josh Allen to put up big numbers. The Chargers 29th versus quarterbacks, and keep in mind that Buffalo is fighting for a playoff position. So they're going to be hitting on all cylinders. You're really going to have to beat the Bills in order to knock them out of the playoff hunt. And the Chargers aren't capable of doing that. So Josh Allen, make sure he's in your lineup. Next, we're looking at Christian McCaffrey, CMC. They have a big game on Monday night versus the Ravens. And this is a great matchup between talent versus talent, athleticism versus athleticism. In order for the 49ers to be successful, CMC has to be the workhorse. Not Brock Purdy, not Debo. Why? Because the Ravens match up very well. They're extremely athletic defense. They have 2 good linebackers that can run with CMC. That's why he has to be the one to have the high fantasy numbers versus the other skill players. Because defensive-wise, the Ravens match up extremely well. The advantage that the 49ers have over the Ravens is CMC. And on the opposite side, the advantage that the Ravens have over the 49ers defense is Lamar Jackson. Because again, the 49ers defense is also very athletic. This should be a rough, tough game. Look for that score to be around 20-24. And we're going to say favor the Ravens in this case. But again, CMC has to be the workhorse, and he should have a good fantasy outing. As for week 16 overall, using week 15 as a springboard, 75% success rate without picks. Stick with us. Like I said, we're hot the past couple of months. We've been well over 70% without picks. Stay with us. We're doing our thing. So hit that like, hit that subscribe button to know when we post. As for the matchups for this week, the 2 big matchups are the Ravens versus the 49ers and the Cowboys versus the Dolphins. Now, the Cowboys versus the Dolphins game was our pick early on as a Super Bowl matchup. But most of the analysts today are looking at the Ravens versus the 49ers, bring a preview of the Super Bowl matchup. So that's how big these two games are. And again, look for those matchups to deliver some great fantasy numbers. And continuing on with fantasy, don't overthink it, regardless of the matchup. Why do I say that? Because I'm still getting questions, still see posts about people asking, oh, do I play Lamar Jackson this week? Do I play Christian McCaffrey this week? Regardless of your matchup, these are your studs. Don't question it. You'd rather go out with your studs underperforming versus you playing a non-stud, getting mediocre numbers, and your studs going off that week. If you're going to go out with your artillery in hand, full blazing. Play your studs. Do not question it regardless of the matchup. Yes, they're going to have tough matchups from time to time, and particularly this week, but they're still going to perform. Still going to perform. So play to win. That's why you see CMC on this week's list. That's why you see Josh Allen on this week's list. Because those questions about, oh, do I play them because they have difficult matchups? Regardless, play your studs. I don't know how many times we have to say it, but play them. Play your studs. And with that being said, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate it. Also, check out our sponsors link on our homepage of our YouTube channel. Again, this is Dub FFG, your fantasy football GOAT strategist. Till next time. Question: is your NFL team winning the Super Bowl this season? If so, then you better get your new gear for the new season. NFL Shop is providing with your new favorite team's apparel this season. Use the link below or scan the QR code to see a huge inventory of NFL teams apparel. Discount codes will be available throughout the season, so use the link. Shop now.